Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all appropriate ages, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Hope you're having a good start to the week, staying safe and healthy. So, I'm still sticking to what I said about Glassmaker starting on Monday, and it should be Monday next week. But one thing I didn't say is we actually have, as it says there on the news feed, 3 days ago, Railjack Revisited Part 1 update is insert for consoles. And it's only part 1, so, and there's a lot to go through. So let's see what console players can currently expect coming out. For all of you into Fashion Frame, there's 2 sets of Tenogen bundles coming out, but don't give your hopes up for getting the complete bundle, because we're still missing items from almost every other Tenogen bundle that PC got. Alright, so
Ordis has been counting stars, operator. All accounted for.
are they really Ordis? Thank you. But yeah, some of the Railjack changes we can look forward to, and some of the other things that are coming out, and this is going to be a long fucking list. I'm not going to go through it all because it would probably take forever. Forever? So disabled the Railjack's innate loop pickup vacuum ring. No, doubled, not disabled. That would have been... Imagine if they had nerfed it. That would be fucking out of control. Improve the way the vacuum pulls items towards the player and the Railjack. Max amount of time it takes for the pickup to reach the player should be a little more consistent now. Sending an anomaly in the Veil Proxima will no longer have downtime. It will rotate every 30 minutes to a different node with no downtime in between. Changing the pacing and general feel of all Railjacks, piloting a movement to be less reliant on the optimal strategy of single strafe boost and repeat. So they doubled the Railjack's base speed. Nice. But they lowered the boost speed by 75%, increased the boost speed cost of dodge, and increased boost drain. So just so you don't feel more reliant on boosting, they've decided to go and nerf it from the sounds of it. But they doubled the movement speed, so we'll see how that pans out. Made scale a factor in damage reduction and bonuses. This means arc wings and their weapons will do more damage to ships while taking less damage from them. Fixed inconsistencies with the sensitivities of the emplacement position. Side turrets now match the pilot turret. Double Revelite crafting yield from 50 to 100. Tripled values of titanium and asterite resources. To be honest, I never had a problem. Titanium was probably the most common one you could pick up anyway, so why double that one? Grineer on for enemies now drop Arcwing mods, and captains drop operation and dual stat Arcwing mods. I think I have every Arcwing dual stat mod anyway, so that's irrelevant to me. Change the Omni tool to slot into the first available slot in the gear. That's just Omni tool placement. Removed unnecessary ability to use Omni's tool outside of Railjack missions. Could you use it in just ground missions? I never. When transitioning between Railjack missions, your Warframe operator health shields will be restored as well as any Vazarine instant revives. Railjack sessions will now lock after 5 minutes or if 50% of the fighters have died, similar to normal sessions. Railjack missions will reward more credits at the end of each mission. Earth Proxima reward goes from 30 to 45,000. Sand Proxima rewards 50 to 75,000. And Veil Proxima rewards 80 to 150,000, but that all depends on the node that you're in on those Proximas. They still haven't decided to add intrinsic points as an end of mission bonus though, from what I'm hearing, so they missed the mark there. Removed the whirly spin move of one of the sentient fighters. He was having just a little bit too much fun and the other sentients were just not having any of his funny business. That was never an issue. Why the fuck? Ah, god damn it, Digital Extremes. You're going to take out something and make it sound like you had a funny reason for it. Don't. Fucking actually focus on fixing shit. Updated the look of the Tactis Grineer fighter ships. Made slight visual updates to the search bar in the Avionics. Made the notification sounds clearer when making contact with enemy fighters. Removed the meridian of Arcwing catapult maneuvers from the engineering intrinsic description due to none of its ranks relating to the Arcwing snapshot. You can find them under the gunnery intrinsic now. Reset defaults and randomize all buttons in Railjack's cosmetic screen. Will reset the camera to the overview when viewing the exterior. This makes more sense as these buttons apply changes to the entire ship and also fixes an issue where if you were focused on the decal or name, then the position would be wrong after changing the Railjack skin. Then there's something to do with your pet, but I never have taken a pet onto the Railjack. So, ship combat changes. Changed all health, shield and armour to use the new 10.0 versions introduced in Warframe Revised. Half the health and armour of all Grineer fighters. Wow, alright. Making it a bit more easier for us. Randomise the amount of fighters required. Oh. Decrease the amount of time between landing and killing shot to the enemy explosion on fighters. Shield recharge delay remains at 5 seconds based on public test results. Railjack weapon heat build-up changes. APOC Sigma 11 Vidar heat build-up reduced from 20 to 12. Zekti from 40 to 20. Castle Oxlot heat build-up reduced from 10 to 8. Zekti 20 to 12. Cryphon Zekti from 400 to 350. Photor Sigma 11 Vidar heat build-up reduced from 10 to 8. Oh, big reduction there. Zekti from 20 to 12. That's not bad. Railjack weapon changes. Lati multi-missile reload speed increased from 5 to 2. Projectile speed increased from 250 to 400. Pulsar damage increased. And then it goes through a few other stats about Sigma 11 Vidar mastery ranks and Zekti mastery ranks, and what damage they do. They've all been buffed, so it'll be interesting to see that damage output. On foot combat changes, reduce the health of all on foot Grineer Railjack enemies by half. I know a lot of people at the beginning of when Railjack first came out, they were moaning about certain Grineers being too hard to kill because they were disappointed they couldn't one-shot everything. Boo fucking who. Everyone talks about wanting a challenge. They finally get an enemy that's a bit tougher than they've seen before and they start bitching and crying. Now they've got their wish. Remove scaled damage controllers from all on-foot Grineer Railjack enemies. Nerfing enemies, once again. But they're adding hard mode soon, so can't wait to hear them bitch about how hard mode gets. Added caps for the amount of simultaneous Railjack hazards via electric and breaches. Your Railjack can only have one of each hazard active at a time. When was that ever a fucking issue? I never heard anyone complain about that. Not on PlayStation anyway. I guess everyone else is just fucking pansies. Made each Railjack hazard type even more harmful to the Railjack based on... that's probably why they've done it then, because they've upped the amount of damage it can cause to your Railjack. Interesting counter-offensive there. Reduce Railjack speed and damage when Railjack is in catastrophic failure mode. Also there's punishment. Increase the amount of Omni Revelite required to remove hazard events, but quadrupled the XP gained. Oh, nice. Increase the number of fighters in all alert stages. Enemies now spawn much closer to the Railjack versus 1,000+ kilometers away. So it will help make the missions quicker then. Destroying all engines on a cruise ship now disables the weapons too. Don't know what I think about that. Destroying all engines on a cruise ship kills half the crew on board. Oh, come on. Fucking... It's sounding like they're making it way more easier. Whatever. Arcwing changes. Long-standing issues with the usability of Arcwing Melee has been fixed. Made numerous changes have based on public test results, including further melee weapon rebalancing, increased base melee magnetism range from 100 to 140. Decreased chance of enemy fighters performing a maneuver to break away from melee attacks from 100% to 10%. And with my luck, they'll always hit that 10%. Increased camera offset from nearby fighters from 25 to 30. Arcwing melee range mods now affect aim assist lock-on range. Arcwing gun stats normalized. Space combat now uses ground heavy weapon stats. The lead indicator has been added to relevant Arcwing guns. So they've buffed Arcwing weapons. Again, it's just going to make it all feel way too easy. But this is before we've even got it. I'm going to have to wait and see. Hopefully it's this week. Maybe. Usually they bring out these updates on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So here's fingers crossed. Then there's systemic changes like the Kuva Lich Valence fusion is coming for built armaments and components for Railjack. Yeah, we already knew about that. Avionic change. No, infinity and intrinsic gain changes. Doubled infinity to intrinsic point conversion. Thank you. You will now gain intrinsics twice as fast. Increase the earned affinity on killing elite fighters and outriders. Good. Still pissed that there's no intrinsic bonus at the end of the mission. Or the random chance of one dropping for you. Avionic changes. When it comes to avionic changes, there's an overarching goal, simply avionic management. Each integrated avionic type will only exist with a single manufacturer rather than 3 manufacturer flavors. They call them flavors. What this means is that there won't be 3-time variants of the same avionic. Oh, so they've simplified it a little bit better. Consolidated avionics have had their avionic capacity drain altered so that on average integrated avionics now consume 20% less. This ensures players can more comfortably fit the builds that they want in a new consolidated system based on feedback from the Placid test cluster. Ooh, I look forward to that. The retired integrated avionics will be removed from players' inventory via a script on login. Don't fuck with my current loadout at least before I get a chance. The remaining integrated avionic for each type will take on the values of the previously highest valued avionic of its type. All direct used upgrade integrated avionics will be refunded. Nice. This applies to both retired and remaining avionics. All remaining integrated avionics will have their upgrades drained. Added incomplete tab category to the avionics screen in the Configure Railjack panel, mod segment screen and codex. So while I'm talking, I'm actually going to go to my Railjack and see what my current setup was. And remember, I'm not reading everything because there's probably like another 20 pages I'm going to skip. Countermeasures. Initial use cost of 5 flux energy, double cost if used again with 4 seconds up to a cap of 40 energy. Blackout pulse display range stat on all marked targets while projectiles in flight, increase radius from 100 to 200, increase damage. I'm not going to read out numbers, I'm just going to say if it's been buffed or nerfed. Save time. If anyone can guess why I've named it New Sun, maybe I'll drop you 50 plat. But you have to be a PlayStation 10. There's no crossplay. Can't drop 50 plat to... No, maybe I'll bump it to 100 plat. Where did I get the name New Sun from? What other game? Particle ram requires forward velocity. Knew that was coming. Increased speed of projectile when it's launched. Nice. Increased length of projectile so the target stays within the damage field. 50% more damage during vector. 10% more damage when launching. Now accepts your energy colour. Ooh, so it will be blue for me. Shout burst, display range stat on all marked targets while projectiles in flight. Range increased from 120 to 200. Damage has been buffed by double. Raise increased by 20. Fall off decreased by half. Void hold decreased duration from 25 to 12 seconds. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. But increased attraction strength, so it's got a buff and a nerf. That's research. What is my current configuration? Zekti shield array, Zekti engines, Vidar reactor. Armaments, Vidar Graphon, Vidar Carcinox. Avionics. So I wonder what else I'll be able to add. Also, I have 31,500 Dirac, so I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, every slot's maxed out. Not bad. Someone in Scarlet Spear did say they missed my Railjack when we moved to someone else's because mine apparently felt fast. Secret Volley, increased damage, increased crit chance by double, increased speed by more than double. Now drops from Cosmotactis if you haven't got it yet. Fire suppression change, tactical avionic to always fix only one hazard and upgrading the rank reduces the cooldown. New avionics, deep hold, increased forge capacity by 60. Cruising speed, increased speed by 80 when no enemies within 3,000 meters. Quick lock, decrease ordnance lock on time by 3/4. Forward artillery cheap shot. Forward artillery has 50% chance to not consume dome charges. Ooh. Ordnance weapons have 50% chance to not consume munitions for ordnance cheap shot. Turret velocity, increased turret range by 25.3%, increased projectile speed by 55. Nice. Arcwing melee stat refresh. Alright. Veritux increased by 170. Honorix Master rank has increased from 0 to 1. So you have to be Master rank 1 to have the Honorix. Damage increased to 412. Yakuza Mastery rank has increased from 0 to 3. Damage increased. Status chance increased by 5%. Kazas increased from 0 to Mastery rank 4. Damage increased by 70. Status increased by 5%. Crit increased by 5%. Wrathbone. Damage increased to 450. Status chance increased a little bit. Crit chance increased a little bit. Nux. Mastery rank increased from 0 to 7. Damage increased by 120. Crit chance increased from 10% to 13%. That was my favourite weapon to use as well in terms of Arcwing melee. Centaur increased from 0 to 8 on Mastery rank. Damage increased by 96. Prisma Veritux increased from 0 to Master rank 8. Damage increased by 94. Crit chance increased by 15%. It's been doubled. Then arc guns all got buffed, but the main one that got a buff was the Velocitors. Increased size of Velocitors projectile. Quick shot damage increased. Hang on, increased from 200 magnetic to 150 impact, 150 puncture, 150 slash, 150 magnetic. Okay. Quick shot crit chance increased by 5%. Charge shot damage increased from 1200 magnetic to 400 impact, 400 puncture, 400 slash, and 400 magnetic. Charge shot crit chance increased by double. It's gone from 30 to 60. People are just gonna rinse fucking profit taker with that now. Charge shot crit damage increased from 3 to 3.6. Oh, what a big change. And then there's a bunch of other Railjack changes that they were talking about. Like how sometimes you can't get through the doors in your Railjack, which is still an issue to this day. Apparently that's going to be fixed. Reduce a buff after equipping, unequipping, yeah. Fix chromosome mental ward issue. Fix base of the Railjack wing turret appearing to float in front of the client player when mounting said wing turret. You also need to fix the fact that the screen starts turning black in some areas when you're moving around 360 in the wing turrets. Okay. Fix being placed inside artillery and falling through the level to escape if you use join warp on a player. That's only ever happened to me twice. Warframe's body not moving with camera aim when using Railjack's forward artillery. Fixed using transference when piloting or using side turrets in Railjack as operator, causing it to cast the first slotted battle avionic. Didn't know that was a thing. Fix clients loading into an untextured level when sitting in the Arcwind slingshot during the host migration. Can you also fix when we load into a mission that there is just nothing there, it's just complete pitch black outside the side turrets and the pilot seat? Because I don't see that here, but maybe that will be in part 2. Like I said, there's a shit ton to go through that they're claiming they're fixing. And again, this is only part 1 of Railjack Revisited. God knows when we're going to get Railjack part 2. And then there's defendable objects, healing AoE and damage reduction changes. Conclave mods are converted to PvE mods because no one really plays Conclave anymore, which is disappointing. That could rework Conclave, make it better, make it actually fun to play. Because it was for a bit, but now no one just plays it anymore. And add Frame Fighter to add to your Conclave stats, please. For fuck's sake. Then there's 4 new Warframe augments. Spellbound Harvest for Titania. Spellbound augment, hitting at least 4 enemies with Spellbind will grant Titania 50. Tribunal for Harrow Condemn augment. Other players will proc 50% of the effects of Penance and Thurible when attacking chained enemies. Catapult for Grendel for the Pulverize augment. To launch Grendel in your aim direction, cost 10 energy. Blazing Pillage for Hildren. Enemies affected by Haven will be set ablaze for 200 heat damage and restore 50 additional shields to Hildren. Oof. But if you hung around this long, damn, we've been going for over 20 minutes. But yeah, so a lot of changes, and I did not read all of them. But yeah, I just needed to look at this so I can see what I actually had on my Railjack again. Void Cloak, Particle Ram, all of that good stuff. Yep. So yeah. I wonder how that's going to be affected by the changes. So a lot of buffs to increase weapons damage, crit chance, stat chance. Increase the base boost speed of the Railjack, but increase the base speed of the Railjack, but nerf the boost speed. And nerf and increase how much it costs in terms of energy. So we've only had a couple of minor nerfs, a lot of buffs to everything else. The enemies are getting nerfed to hell because everyone was originally bitching about how some of the enemies were too hard to kill. I bet you none of those players will ever touch hard mode. They'll touch it for a video and then they'll just ignore it completely again. But yeah, It's all in there. It's all here if you want to read it all, but it would take well over an hour, and I don't have that kind of time. But like I said, this is just part 1 coming out. We don't know when part 2 will be ready and available, and we hope it fixes everything else that we know are still issues that aren't included in part 1. But it'll be nice to see if this puts Railjack in the right direction. And with that being said, I'm gonna go have a shower, go down shops, and come back and play some more Predator Hunting Grounds.
Operator.
As I already did a bit on
Ordis
Warframe this
wonders,
morning, and I
what
shall
are you
see you all
thinking about?
later. And shut up, Ordis.